The latest Pompey news, updates every day from the Pompey Sound news desk.
John MOUSINHO is issuing his biannual warning that Pompey will not be quick out of the blocks in the coming transfer window. He says this:
"We've got plans and have clear plans, but we can have the clearest plans in the world in November or on December 31st. Then your left back goes down with a potentially serious injury and your plans go up in flames. We just have to be really flexible, and Connor is a really good example of that. You do have to be flexible when you change shape or have injuries. Those sort of things mean we can have all the targets in the world and in certain areas, which we will do, but we have to be flexible and adjustable to have players for every position. We'll plan with target positions in terms of what we're after, and we'll have an idea where we want to go with those spots. For example, last year we were very secure with wanting a centre-back to come into the building. We wanted a lone centre-half to come into the building, and we knew that was a priority. After that we looked at the long-term one, so it was Rob Atkinson and Hayden Matthews. So we were very secure and sold on bringing a centre-back into the building, and a lone centre-back. So when I say we're secure in terms of what we want, whether a loan, permanent or free, all of those things will be received well when we present that, but we have to be flexible. We got to a position last January when we had options on the table in certain positions, but we didn't know if they were going to be available or not. We were waiting to see if the clubs would release them or not. A couple of the players ended up going back into their sides and played the last 4 months of the season. Others we got quite easily and impacted us. You just never know. You never know in January, that's why business happens late."
Yeah, you have a picture, I think, and you can hear it in his words, of John MOUSINHO speaking about the Connor Ogilvie injury through gritted teeth, because it is a bitter blow, especially since we basically don't have a proper covering left back who is fit and able. And so it's a big hole in our defence, and that opens up other holes in our defence. So it's a big problem, and we know that he's going to be out for another, let's see, it was a fortnight ago. They said at the time 10 to 12 weeks. So we've not got Connor Ogilvie for another 8 to 10 weeks. And that is if the healing process goes according to plan. So fingers crossed on that score. And fingers crossed as well that John and the recruitment team can work some of the magic that they have in the past and get us in some players who will start to pick up a few points for us and keep us 3 or 4 places ahead of the relegation zone, which I don't need to remind us is only 2 teams, because Sheffield Wednesday, as Guy Whittingham put it, are pretty much dead and buried with that points deduction. So we've got to be ahead of two more teams at the end of the season, and then there will be some conversations about whether we're serious about becoming an established mid-table or better than that championship side.
Fans following the fortunes of one of the Championship's favourites for promotion, Middlesbrough, will note that a relatively unknown Swiss coach is now hot favourite to land the plum job. 48-year-old Raphael Wicki, currently enjoying a holiday from football, is fresh from success managing one of Switzerland's yacht sides, the Young Boys. Further down the betting, one sees a list of managers, all of whom are currently out of work, such as Brendan Rodgers and Ange Postecoglou. The shortest price about a manager currently in a job is, to no one's surprise surely, John MOUSINHO. The Portsmouth manager's name on the list of possibles for the Middlesbrough job, with the standout credential that he is currently in work, suggests that either the bookmakers have engaged in some random speculation, or somebody somewhere knows about a phone call, which may have taken place between the club currently ranked second in the Championship, and the club currently lying 20th, as the rules are very clear that clubs must gain the permission of the other club if they want to talk to anybody on the club's books. Whatever the background, as Wicki has shortened dramatically in the betting, it's clear that if John has received an approach, he politely said thank you but no thank you.
Of course he did. He's got a job still to do. With us, I'm looking at the list now, the bookies' list of potential new managers for Middlesbrough, and Raphael Wicki is 2 to 5, 5 to 2 on. That means he's almost landed the job. He's probably already been looking at houses. Also on the list, though, Steven Gerrard, for example, Gary O'Neill, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Brendan Rodgers is only just ahead of John MOUSINHO in the betting. John MOUSINHO is lumped in with the likes of, Will Still, surely not, after his debacle along the road. Ralph Hasenhüttl is there, and Ruud van Nistelrooy, and Wayne Rooney. So he's in fairly exalted company, John MOUSINHO. But I think we're right in saying, I've only just cast a casual eye over the list, I think I'm right in saying he's just about the only manager who's currently in a job, which does suggest that this may be a case of no smoke without a little bit of fire. It's flattering always when your manager is possibly being tapped up, as they call it. No doubt, correct procedures were followed, and permission was obtained. If, and it's a complete speculation, anybody from Middlesbrough has had a word with John. One of the downsides of success, and it doesn't feel to a lot of supporters that we're enjoying much success at the moment, but of course John famously is working on an absolute shoestring, and that only enhances his credentials. What he's achieving on the pitch with winning the title and comfortably avoiding relegation last season, as it's put. Didn't feel like it at the time, but everyone says Pompey comfortably avoided relegation, and still have some work to do this season if they're going to have the mid-table finish, which I think a lot of us hoped for, and a great many fans simply expected, which was a bit strong, but so they did. And the day will dawn. The day will dawn when somebody will come in for John MOUSINHO, guns blazing, and we have to steel ourselves. Whether this will help the manager persuade the owners to dig a little deeper in their pockets in January, and then, assuming that we stay up, to go for a better place in the championship table next season, whether he can wring some more dough out of them on the basis that he doesn't want to have to leave, but he really would like to have a budget to play with, of course. Well, time will tell. Time will tell. But all fingers crossed. Oh, he's 33-1, by the way. Controversy has flared up over Pompey women's match against Birmingham at the weekend. But before we get to that, here's the official match report.
Pompey women twice fought from behind, before eventually succumbing to a 5-2 defeat against high-flying Birmingham at St Andrews. Goals from the in-form pair of Meg Hornby and Jessie Gale had cancelled out efforts from Christy Harrison-Murray and Lucy Quinn. But despite showing brave resistance for much of the second half, Lily Crosthwaite, Chelsea Cornett and Tegan McGowan all struck in quick succession to leave the Blues with nothing. Jay Sadler made 2 changes from the side that secured back-to-back victories by beating Crystal Palace and Sunderland. Jessie Gale was rewarded for her recent heroics from the bench with a start, while Emma Jones also came into the lineup, as Izzy Collins and the suspended Sophie Barker made way. But the visitors got off to the worst possible start and fell behind to their title-chasing opponents with just 26 seconds on the clock. Crosthwaite wriggled free down the right and cut inside before cutting the ball back for Harrison-Murray to fire home. City continued to push forward in search of more goals, and a shot from Beatrice Sarri was blocked by skipper Jazz Bull. The Blues were back on level terms on 6 minutes, however, and there were no prizes for guessing who found the target. Bull sent a cross into the box from the right, with top scorer Hornby neatly controlling it, then lashing the ball home with her left foot. It was still Birmingham doing most of the attacking though, and an attempt from Quinn was beaten away by Jess Gray. Cornett then turned sharply inside the area, and hit a low effort that Gray did well, to turn around the post. But the home side did restore their advantage midway through the first half after stealing possession, with Ji Soyoon threading a pass-through for Quinn to convert against her former club. Again the Blues hit back though, and their second shot of the game resulted in another goal to bring the scores back level. A long pass from inside her own half by Greta Humphreys was seized upon by Gale, who hit a cool shot through the legs of Lucy Thomas, with the ball clipping the inside of the post before crossing the line. Birmingham might have gone ahead for a third time before the break, but a long-range strike from Martha Harris left the crossbar rattling. Then, after Gray could only parry Sarri's powerful angled effort, Quinn nodded the loose ball over from just a few yards out. Half-time, Birmingham 2, Pompey 2. Sadler made a switch at the break, as Ella Rutherford replaced Jones, which saw Hornby move further back. Their opponents went straight on the attack when the action restarted, and G's shot from the edge of the box was grabbed by Gray at the second attempt, and the visitors breathed a sigh of relief when Humphreys tried to pass the ball back to her keeper. only to see the ball roll just past the post. For all Birmingham's dominance of possession and territory, though, they were struggling to breach a resolute back line. Pompey was sitting deep and having to soak up plenty of pressure, yet doing a good job of frustrating their hosts. But City were gifted a goal on 77 minutes, as Gray failed to hold an Ocean Hertre delivery, and Crosswaite kept her composure to find the net. And the contest was effectively wrapped up moments later, as Cornet's effort looped over the keeper and landed just underneath the crossbar. But there was still time for Birmingham to add a late fifth, with McGowan managing to turn home a cornet centre, despite falling to the turf as she met the ball. The home side continued to attack as the seconds ticked down, but the Blues ensured they escaped any further punishment.
The controversy allegedly began during the game and continued after it, and was taken up on social media by a Pompey player, and Birmingham have launched an official review of the events.
A Pompey player has hit out at Birmingham women supporters over what she says was unacceptable abuse during Sunday's match. Birmingham have now launched an internal review following Ella Rutherford's allegations. After the game, Rutherford, who came on at half-time, posted on Instagram claiming she and her teammates were verbally abused by Birmingham fans. She says she tried raising it with match officials and security both during and after the match, but nothing was done. Birmingham quickly responded, saying they'll be looking into the allegations made by Pompey's attacking midfielder. Rutherford wrote, "At BCFC, women fans do better. There is no space for abuse in this beautiful game." Throughout and after the game, despite reporting it to match officials and security, it continued. Interacting with fans after games isn't a requirement for players in the women's game. They do it to show appreciation for the support. Unfortunately, this opens the door for interactions like today, where for no reason myself and my teammates were verbally abused. Rutherford, who's in a relationship with social media personality GK Barry, joined Fratton Park in August after being released by Ipswich.
Since there remains the possibility that criminal proceedings may be taken against one or more of the spectators who appear to be responsible for the alleged abuse, the best we can do is, importantly, the human thing, which is to offer our sympathies for any Pompey player or all Pompey players who were subjected to whatever abuse it is that they claim was directed at them.